In the boundless quiet of space, the medical facility Sanctuary floated gracefully around Proxima Centauri. Its pristine white hull, emblazoned with the universally recognized symbol of healthcare, a blue and white serpent coiled around a staff, stood as a beacon of peace and aid. Inside, Dr. Elena Rossi gazed out the viewport in the main atrium, mesmerized by the churning clouds of the planet below. "It's breathtaking, isn't it?" remarked Dr. Naveen Kumar, joining her at the window. "Indeed. It's hard to believe it's been 5 years since Sanctuary became the first interspecies medical center in this quadrant," Elena responded, her voice tinged with pride. "The Morgani are due tomorrow," Naveen noted, referring to the alien delegation arriving with children suffering from industrial pollution on their mining worlds. "It's their first time seeking our help." Sanctuary, a project under the aegis of the United Earth Alliance, offered medical services to all species without charge, staffed by a cadre of 300 of Earth's finest medical volunteers. In another part of the facility, Dr. Maya Lee completed her rounds in the pediatric unit. She checked on a young Vidian whose translucent, slightly luminescent skin marked a rare genetic disorder, now under control thanks to their intervention. The outpost's AI-IRIS softly alerted her. "Dr. Lee, the Padraxin patient in Bay 4 shows improved neural activity." "Thank you, Iris," Maya acknowledged, making a mental note before moving on. As Sanctuary lived up to its name, offering a neutral zone free from the galaxy's myriad conflicts, their peace was shattered without warning. 3 sleek, dark vessels burst from hyperspace, unmarked but unmistakably Valkyrie, a species known for their militant isolationism. Before communications could even be attempted, the lead ship launched a devastating assault. The first plasma torpedo obliterated the station's communication arrays, severing their links to Earth and the Interstellar medical network. A second strike targeted the primary power core, plunging the station into chaos, with emergency lights flickering and gravity fields unstable. "All personnel, this is Director Rossi. We are under attack. Implement emergency evacuation protocols. Secure your patients." "This is not a drill," Elena's voice echoed, calm yet urgent, over the intercom. The station trembled with subsequent impacts, alarms blaring down the corridors. In the surgical wing, Dr. Arjun Patel and his team were mid-operation on a Nilian dignitary. "Stabilize the patient. We're moving to the evacuation pods," he commanded, just as his assistant protested the danger of moving their patient mid-procedure. "If we stay, we die," Arjun stated grimly, preparing for emergency transport. Throughout Sanctuary, medical staff frantically worked to evacuate their patients, a task for which there was no true preparation. The concept of an attack on such a neutral and humanitarian outpost was unthinkable, a blatant violation of every known accord of interstellar conduct. In the command center, Elena and Naveen attempted to establish any form of external communication. "Any response to our distress signals?" Elena inquired, desperation edging her voice. "Nothing. The attack has taken out our long-range communications. Our emergency beacon's active, but any help is hours away at best," Naveen replied, his face grim. Another explosion rocked the station, this one perilously close. Through the viewport, they witnessed a Valkyrie warship positioning for another direct hit, this time targeting the escape pods explicitly. "They're aiming for the evacuation pods," Elena whispered, horror-stricken, realizing the attackers knew precisely what they were doing. Aboard the lead Valkyrie vessel, Commander Zirathal watched the destruction with cold satisfaction. "Target their escape vessels. Leave no survivors," he ordered, his voice devoid of emotion. His subordinate hesitated, conflicted by the brutality of the order. "Commander, our scans confirm this is a medical facility. There are children aboard from various species, including our own. They are tainted by their association with humans," Zirathal responded coldly. "The High Council is clear. Human expansion is a threat cloaked in benevolence, Our response must be decisive. The onslaught lasted 47 excruciating minutes. When it ceased, Sanctuary was little more than a crippled shell in the void, its lifeblood venting into the cold vacuum of space. Of the numerous evacuation pods launched in desperation, only a fraction escaped the Valkyrie's brutal targeting. With the Guardians activated, the gears of a retaliatory machine, long dormant but meticulously maintained, began to turn. The Earth was about to respond, and its message would be unequivocal. An attack on its healers was an attack on its very heart. 20 hours after receiving Dr. Lee's distress signal, the High Security Council chambers beneath Geneva were charged with a palpable tension. President Sofia Alvarez reviewed the chilling footage of the attack on Sanctuary for the third time, her features set in a mask of restrained fury. Around the polished table, military leaders, intelligence officials, and diplomats awaited her directive, the air thick with anticipation and dread. Options, President Alvarez stated simply, her voice cutting through the heavy silence as the recording ended. Admiral Kazu Nakamura, head of the Earth Defense Fleet, was the first to speak, his tone measured. The standard protocol under these circumstances would suggest a diplomatic protest and fortified defenses around our remaining outposts. And how many more must die while we negotiate? General Maria Vasquez interjected sharply, her eyes hard with anger. The Valkyrie targeted a medical facility, a clear violation of the most basic interstellar laws. Director Liu Wei of the Intelligence Service cleared his throat, adding, "Our analysis indicates that this was a calculated strike sanctioned by the Valkyrie High Council. They are testing our resolve, probing for weaknesses in anticipation of further aggression." President Alvarez's eyes narrowed thoughtfully. "If we show weakness now, we invite more attacks," she concluded, her voice firm. Silence enveloped the room as the gravity of the situation settled on each member present. It was then that President Alvarez posed a question that would define their course of action. What about the Guardians? At the mention of the Guardians, a visible unease flickered through the room. Admiral Nakamura adjusted his posture, the weight of his next words apparent. "Madam President, deploying the Guardians would signify a significant escalation. It's an extreme response." "Isn't this situation extreme?" President Alvarez countered sharply. "The Valkyrie have committed an atrocity by targeting those dedicated to saving lives, irrespective of species or allegiance." Surgeon General Dr. Ilana Morales spoke next, her voice heavy with grief. 27 of my people were confirmed dead. 46 more are missing. The Valkyrie knew precisely what they were doing." President Alvarez stood, pacing slowly to a large display of the galaxy. Her finger traced the regions where Earth's medical outposts spread light in the dark of space. "Humanity joined the galactic community with a promise of peace," she began, turning to face her council. "But there must be consequences when that promise is violated so brazenly." She paused, her gaze sweeping over her advisors. "The Valkyrie believe our humanitarian missions are a front for colonization. They've mistaken our compassion for weakness." Returning to her seat, she leaned forward, her decision clear. "Activate Protocol Nemesis. Deploy the Guardians. We will locate and rescue any survivors, neutralize the responsible parties, and ensure this cannot happen again." A tense silence followed her directive. Admiral Nakamura sighed deeply. "There will be diplomatic repercussions. Many within the galaxy remember our more aggressive past." "Then let them remember," President Alvarez replied sternly. "Let them remember it well." As the council meeting adjourned, orders were dispatched to the deepest levels of the Olympus Mons colony on Mars. In a facility shrouded in secrecy, Commander Alexandra Vukovic received the activation codes. Her eyes, enhanced by military-grade augmentations, scanned the authorization codes. Without hesitation, she issued her command. "Wake them up." Inside the facility, 12 stasis pods initiated their revival sequences. These pods housed humanity's most formidable weapon, the Guardians, a special operations unit. Each member was a finely tuned instrument of war, held in reserve for situations precisely like this. As the first pod hissed open, Commander Vukovic stepped forward to greet the figure within. Colonel Jeremiah Kane, his skin marked by the telltale neural interface scars, opened his eyes, immediately alert. "Protocol Nemesis activated," Commander Vukovic informed him succinctly. "The Valkyrie have attacked the medical outpost sanctuary. Casualties are high. Many are still missing." Colonel Kane's expression remained unreadable, but his eyes, cold and sharp, reflected a steely resolve. As his team awakened, each member processed their orders through their enhanced cognitive abilities. "Mission parameters?" Kane asked, standing to receive his uniform from a technician, the black fabric stark against the clinical white of the revival room. "Rescue our people, punish those responsible, and send a message that Earth will not tolerate such barbarism," Commander Vukovic outlined. A grim smile touched Colonel Kane's lips. "Understood. Let's remind them why you don't provoke humanity." With the Guardians activated, the gears of a retaliatory machine, long dormant but meticulously maintained, began to turn. The Earth was about to respond, and its message would be unequivocal. An attack on its healers was an attack on its very heart. The Guardians' deployment was swift and surgically precise, a stark contrast to the brute force typically employed in interstellar conflict. As they launched from the clandestine Mars facility, their destination was clear: the heart of Valkyrie space. Each Guardian, a synthesis of human intelligence and advanced warfare technology, carried a specific role in the operation: rescue, sabotage, or retribution. Aboard the stealth ship Requiem, Colonel Jeremiah Kane briefed his team one final time. "Our primary objective is the rescue of the hostages. Secondary objectives include neutralizing command structures and gathering intelligence. Remember, the Valkyrie respect strength. Today we remind them of ours." The Requiem approached Valkyrie space undetected, thanks to its cloaking technology. In synchronized perfection, 12 drop pods were dispatched from the ship, each carrying a Guardian to a designated target. These pods hurtled towards the planet's surface, the atmosphere igniting around them like meteors racing to Earth. Inside the lead pod, Major Lydia Santos checked her gear, her body and mind honed by enhancements that rendered her nearly invisible to enemy sensors. "Impact in 30 seconds, she communicated through the neural link connecting the team. Each Guardian operated independently upon landing. Unlike traditional military units, they were solitary hunters, each with a specialized skill set designed to inflict maximum psychological impact and operational disruption. Lydia's pod impacted outside the main Valkyrie military outpost. The site was strategically chosen for its proximity to where several Earth medics were believed to be held. The pod's doors blew off, and instead of fire or shrapnel, a swarm of microdrones spread out, incapacitating nearby guards with rapid efficiency. Lydia emerged from the wreckage, her adaptive camouflage blending her seamlessly into the environment. "Perimeter guards neutralized," she reported, moving towards the detention area. Simultaneously, across the outpost, other pods delivered the rest of the team. Each Guardian had a particular target: communications hubs, armories, command centers, all critical points that would cause cascading chaos within the Valkyrie military structure. Lieutenant Marcus Chen, once known as Earth's premier systems hacker before his recruitment into the Guardians, landed near the outpost's communications array. His neural implants interfaced directly with Valkyrie systems, bypassing their security protocols. Within minutes, he had full control. "Communication secured," he reported. "I have access to their entire military network." Colonel Kane, coordinating the operation from orbit, responded, "Proceed with extracting locations of our people. Prioritize rescue." Back on the surface, chaos reigned. The Valkyrie, known for their military prowess, found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. Guardians, appearing seemingly out of nowhere, disabled key systems, and sowed confusion. Major Santos, tasked with psychological warfare, infiltrated the command center. The doors had been sealed, guards positioned at every entry, yet she walked in as if invited. The commanding officer, General Turvin, spun towards her, his sidearm already aimed. "How did you get in here?" he demanded, voice echoing in the suddenly silent room. Santos smiled, her implants broadcasting subtle pheromones designed to influence the Valkyrie's perception. "Your guards saw what I wanted them to see," she explained calmly. "Now, we need to talk about the location of every participant in the attack on Sanctuary." General Turvin's eyes flickered with a mix of fear and disbelief. "I don't have that information." "That's disappointing," Santos replied with a sigh, her tone still pleasant as she tapped her temple, enhancing the pheromonal output. "But you know who does." The general's resistance melted under the onslaught of neurochemical persuasion. "High Command has the information you want. It's stored in the central data hub on our home world." "Thank you for your cooperation," Santos responded, already moving to relay the information back to Colonel Kane. As the Guardians executed their mission, the narrative of the operation began to take shape. Each action was designed not only to debilitate the Valkyrie military, but also to demonstrate Earth's capability and resolve. The Guardians were not just soldiers, they were a message, one of retribution and deterrence. Meanwhile, Earth prepared for the next phase of their response based on the intelligence gathered by the Guardians. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the balance of power in the galaxy and the fate of the detained Earth medics. The Valkyrie would soon learn the true cost of their aggression. As the Guardians continued their precise and relentless operation, Earth's diplomatic and military leaders monitored the unfolding situation with intense scrutiny. In the secure command center beneath Geneva, President Alvarez watched live feeds from Valkyrie space, each successful action by the Guardians reaffirming her decision, but also weighing heavily on her conscience. Colonel Kane, from the bridge of the stealth ship Requiem, coordinated the complex operation. "All teams, report status," he commanded, his voice steady as he watched the holographic displays showing real-time movements of his units. One by one, the Guardians confirmed their objectives. "Hostage extraction complete," reported Major Santos. She had led the successful rescue of several Earth medics detained in a high-security Valkyrie facility. "We have secured the medics. Minimal resistance thanks to earlier disruptions." Lieutenant Chen provided an update from the communications hub he had commandeered. "I've disabled the planetary defense systems. Valkyrie military communications are now effectively paralyzed. With the main military targets neutralized and their hostages freed, the Guardians moved to the next phase of their mission, sending a clear message to the entire galaxy." Colonel Kane focused on the broader strategic impact. "Prepare to broadcast the outcome of our mission across all galactic channels. Let no one doubt Earth's resolve or capability." As the final preparations for the broadcast were made, Earth's diplomatic corps engaged with other species in the Galactic Council, explaining the necessity of their actions and reassuring them of Earth's commitment to peace and stability. The diplomatic maneuvering was delicate, balancing the demonstration of strength with reassurances that Earth did not seek war but would not shy away from defending its principles. Meanwhile, on Valkyrie Prime, the impact of the Guardians' actions was immediate and profound. The ruling council, already reeling from the loss of their military command and control, convened an emergency session. Supreme Leader Zarthel, faced with unprecedented internal pressure and the stark reality of their vulnerability, addressed his advisors. "We must reassess our stance towards Earth. Their response was more severe than we anticipated. We provoked a tiger." Back in the Geneva Command Center, Admiral Nakamura approached President Alvarez. "Madam President, the Guardians' mission could be considered a success, but we must now consider the long-term repercussions. Our actions today will define Earth's position in galactic politics for decades to come. President Alvarez nodded solemnly. Arrange for me to address the Galactic Council. It's time we make our stance clear to all. We seek peace, but we will defend our own fiercely. As the broadcast went live, footage of the Guardians' precision strikes and the rescue of hostages played out across the galaxy. Colonel Kane's voice accompanied the visuals. This is a message from Earth. Let it be known that any aggression against our people, especially those on humanitarian missions, will be met with unequivocal force. However, Earth remains committed to peace and cooperation with all galactic powers. The message resonated across star systems, stirring a mix of admiration, fear, and respect for Earth's capabilities and resolve. Some species, previously neutral or slightly adversarial, began to reconsider their positions, while others reached out with offers of alliances and treaties. As the dust settled, Earth's new role in the galactic community was solidified, not just as a peacemaker, but as a formidable power capable of decisive action. The balance of power had shifted, and the galaxy watched keenly to see how Earth would navigate this newfound influence. In the halls of the Galactic Council, as President Alvarez prepared to speak, the weight of her words would not just shape Earth's future, but also define the contours of interstellar diplomacy for generations. The galaxy had indeed been reminded of Earth's might, but more importantly, of its unwavering commitment to protect its citizens and uphold interstellar law. In the Grand Hall of the Galactic Council, President Sofia Alvarez stepped up to the podium, the gathered representatives of hundreds of species watching intently. The air was thick with anticipation and the weight of history. The recent events had not only demonstrated Earth's formidable capabilities, but had also redefined its role within the galactic community. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed representatives of the Galactic Council, President Alvarez began, her voice resonant and clear. We stand at a crossroads. The recent conflict with the Valkyrie was unfortunate and regrettable. It was never our desire to engage in hostilities, especially against those who had previously been our allies in peace. She paused, letting her words sink in. However, let us not forget why this conflict arose. The unprovoked attack on our medical outpost, Sanctuary, which was a beacon of hope and healing, forced our hand. In defending it, we have not only protected our own, but upheld a universal principle that medical neutrality is sacred.